On I-75 North in Scott County near mile marker 125 where that semi-truck tipped over. I'm going to step away from the camera so you guys can see. I'm here outside the hospital right now, still waiting on more information about the condition of that 17-year-old girl who was shot last night. Hey, Doug and Erica, as I told you guys about an hour ago, we reported yesterday evening about a man accused of robbing this O'Reilly's Auto Parts store here on New Circle Road that you see behind me and threatening employees with a hammer. As I told you 30 minutes ago at 6 o'clock, I'm here on East High Street right now near UK's campus in the Chevy Chase area where police say they were called to that robbery. Now, according to this court document that I have in my hand, the suspect not only robbed the victim but beat them with a bat. Doug and Erica, good morning. As I told you guys 30 minutes ago, I'm here in Mount Sterling right now where Montgomery County fire officials say they responded to a house fire that sent a family of 4 to the hospital. Now, if you guys take a look right behind me, this is the bar on South Limestone where they say she was last seen. George, you just mentioned that it was 21 degrees outside with wind chills in single digits. Now, I've been outside the bus garage for over 2 hours now, and as you can see, buses are just now starting to pull out to go pick up the kids this morning from their bus stops. Good morning, Doug. Now, I told you at 5:30 there was some light rain, and roads pretty much look the same as they did 30 minutes ago, but there may be snow falling this morning, something that drivers should definitely watch out for on their morning commutes. Hey, Doug, good morning. I was out here at Broadway Christian Church just 2 days ago watching road conditions when a wintry mix started rolling in, and now this morning the roads are icing over, which can even be a bigger problem for morning commutes. Now, VJ, it's just like what Bill told me yesterday. While you're fighting traffic today, just keep that smile on. For now, I'm live in Lexington this morning. Travis Harmon-Smith, ABC 36 News. Hey, Doug and Erica, good morning to you guys. Lexington police have arrested 2 men after they say they robbed a woman and her daughter at gunpoint. State police are warning drivers to know the conditions before you head out on the roads. They say drivers should clear all windows and mirrors, increase their following distance, and use extreme caution on bridges and overpasses. Now, I'm going to step away here and show you guys. And there's also some safety tips from Lexington Emergency Management to help drivers stay safe this morning. It's critical for you to use your windshield wipers, turn on headlights, and use your defroster and air conditioner to keep windows clear. You should also allow space between you and the car ahead of you because it will take longer for you to slow down and stop in rainy conditions. Now, those tips also go for snow, which we might be seeing on the roads this morning. Now, Chief Thomas also tells me that Kentucky State Police will be here later this morning as they continue their investigation. For now, I'm live this morning in Mount Sterling. Travis Harmon-Smith, ABC 36 News. Doug, good morning. Superintendent Kalk says metal detectors are being used daily at Frederick Douglass and Paul Lawrence Dunbar, and they'll also be installed here at Taste Creek High School in January. Good morning, Doug. I'm still standing out here right outside of the Federal Medical Center where a former Alabama mayor is in critical condition. Now, his family has been called and notified and sent to a Kentucky federal prison where he's currently serving 15 years for bribery. The hallways in the new school are color-coded by grade level. They say the project ended up costing $17 million, $2.3 million less than the expected $19.3 million. I conversed with Dr. Stephen Voss previously yesterday evening. He expounded on the fact that the blue wave which is a political term, means that the Democratic Party takes the majority of the House. Doug and Erica, good morning. Lexington police say a family of 5 were killed early Sunday morning after being hit head-on by a pickup truck on I-75. Now, according to Lexington police, the crash happened around 2:30, just 1 mile before the Man o' War Boulevard exit. Now, Trump is holding a rally at Eastern Kentucky University's Alumni Coliseum tomorrow night at 7. This is the 3rd rally Trump has held in Kentucky since he began his race for president in June 2015. The president is expected to discuss the economy and the importance of keeping the Republican majorities in the House and Senate. According to Lexington police, a woman by the name of Tashonda Blade assaulted her boyfriend while they were both intoxicated. Now, police say that this happened on Valley Farm Drive, and it was over a situation involving her boyfriend not allowing her to drive with her kids while she was intoxicated. Just for voting for candidates of choice, but voting for change. A huge turnout this morning for voters here in Lexington to cast ballots for changes in the community. This is probably a question that you've heard across campus in regards to All-American Josh Allen leaving for the NFL, in addition to Benny Snell leaving also.
Okay, George, thank you. Last night, of course, election night, and Kentucky's 6th district got national attention as Democrats and Republicans battled for control of the House. In that race, a narrow victory for incumbent Andy Barr, defeating Amy McGrath by nearly 10,000 votes. Our own Travis Harmon-Smith talked to our political correspondent after the race and has a recap for us.
Republican incumbent Andy Barr's victory against Democrat Amy McGrath is the closest race Barr has had in his years in Congress.
Nice to see you all.
Barr narrowly winning while running a campaign much like his previous ones. That's according to UK political science professor and ABC 36 political correspondent Dr. Stephen Voss.
Andy Barr ran a fairly conventional campaign. Hers was very unconventional and broke a lot of rules. First, Amy McGrath herself broke the rules. She didn't have political experience. She came from a different sort of background.
The two very different campaigns drew a similar number of votes, with Barr winning by 3 points, 51 to 48, and just 9,738 votes. Dr. Voss says it was a close election, but not because of the candidates on the ballot.
Andy Barr won, but very narrowly. And he shouldn't have had an election that was that close. It's not really Barr's fault. The problem is that it's a midterm year with a president who has very high unpopularity in terms of voters across the country. Democrats were very motivated to turn out to send him a message.
That message of opposition ended up flipping the U.S. House, something Congressman Barr will find frustrating when he returns to Washington.
There's a big difference in the House between being in the majority and being in the minority. You lose a lot of power. In the Senate, things aren't quite the same. Senators in the minority party have a decent amount of influence. They can, especially if they team up and use the filibuster to block bills. But the long-running story is that the people in the minority in the House of Representatives find it very frustrating.
Her office's mission is to completely eliminate homelessness, but that starts with helping people survive the cold.
But a plan was developed back in 2014, and basically what Lexington realized is in our city we are a very compassionate city, so that we have the ability to expand our shelter capacity so that absolutely no one has to be on the streets during these cold temperatures.
With that in mind, her office set out to coordinate funding to expand Lexington shelters and create systems to get people indoors during winter nights. Part of that includes the Compassionate Caravan run by the Catholic Action Center. Bevan attempted to sue 16 of his own constituents after a disagreement over a proposal that would add new work requirements to Medicaid recipients. This morning, Representative Andy Barr welcomes Congressman Sean Duffy to Lexington for a field hearing on opioid recovery and transitional housing. This is happening at the District Courthouse in Lexington at 9. Congressman Duffy and Barr are assisted by 9 other experts from the 6th District, providing insight on ways to help free people from addiction. Opioid overdose has increased in Kentucky, which now has the 3rd highest opioid overdose mortality rate in the country, meaning Kentucky is on the front lines of this epidemic. The field hearing is open to the public, with the committee providing information and research on ways to help those in recovery free themselves from addiction. It's been 20 years since UK football played in a New Year's Day Bowl. That was in 1999 when the Wildcats lost to Big Ten opponent Penn State 26-14 in the Outback Bowl. The 16th ranked Wildcats took an 8-point lead at halftime, 35-27, and took care of business in the second half, securing a 71-58 victory over the Cardinals. The 15-year-old daughter of Olympic track star Tyson Gay was shot and killed after police say 2 groups exchanged gunfire in the parking lot of the Cookout restaurant. As we reported on Tuesday, earlier this summer, the Franklin Circuit Court invalidated Senate Bill 151 not on the merits of the law itself, but on the basis of 2 legislative process issues. But Steve Pitt, general counsel for Governor Bevan, said, quote, "We are confident that the constitutionality of Senate Bill 151 is supported by solid legal precedent." Honoring the services of Kentucky veterans is a major goal for Kentucky Secretary of State Allison Grimes.
Voter registration.
And when it comes to polling places at Kentucky Veteran Centers, there's a new initiative that ensures Veteran Center residents can cast their ballots a little easier. Governor Bevan also said, quote, "If the High Court strikes down the pension law, it would be as disregarding of the actual law and the authority of our legislature to make laws as a lower judge who blocked it from taking effect."